because I put him with the little kids, and then I put him with. He said, "I was like, man, I saw it. I trained him like he was a big kid.
Love that."
And he finished it. And parents, like, they get mad when you. And what they don't understand is if a coach is doing that, that means he believes in your kid.
Yeah.
Because what they don't understand is if we don't believe in your kid, man, we ain't.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold. Like if I know your kid's terrible, I'm not gonna hold him to a certain standard.
Yeah.
You know?
Or I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna tell the parent after about 3 sessions, this might not be for you because I still care about the kid.
Right.
You're wasting your time.
Right. You wasting your time.
Or you're wasting time with me, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like I'm not about building clientele. That's coming because of the work. I want to make sure the parent knows I'm gonna put your son in the best position, regardless if it's quarterback or not, because it does take a specific skill to play this position, and I will know it quickly. Like I've acknowledged the other guys.
That conversation.
Yeah.
I think it's so bad that, and we had this conversation. I think that parents need to really get an honest evaluation.
There you go.
Hand on the game, we are not playing the same. No, we not looking to change. Hand on the road, they think we lacking the drive. Boy, you should stay in your lane. Foot on the gas, I do not care if I crash.
Welcome to AG's Playbook. We are sponsored by CoachRecruitMe.com. If you need any recruiting help, please go to CoachRecruitMe.com. Many different packages to help you. Remember, recruiting is no longer just by standard. It is not a spectator sport. You need to take advantage of recruitment. But today, I have in the building with me Mr. Baylin Trujillo. I said it right.
Trujillo.
Yeah, I've been knowing him his whole life, but my blackness struggled with that. Come on,
Years.
Yeah, way too long to mess it up. But I just been calling you Baylin, so I never called you by your last name. So I just call you Be True, one of the two. So so it's okay.
Make it easy for you people. Be true. That's it.
That helps me out tremendously. I'm getting old too, so that's a problem.
Nah, you're still young, man.
Nah, that's a lie, but it's okay. You can respect your elders. But anyway, man, tell the people a little bit about yourself, man, because I know some of the people who are watching may not know who you are, but tell them about yourself.
Yeah, so born and raised in Orlando, Florida. I love this city. I don't plan on ever going anywhere else. This is kind of made me who I am. My parents raised me here, and they both met at UCF, and so they connected here and stayed in Orlando. And so I born and raised here, went to Dover Shores, Howard Middle School, then went to Boone High School for 3 years, and was blessed enough to meet a guy named Elijah Williams, who you had on your podcast not too long ago. He changed my life. Changed my life for the better. Transferred to Oak Ridge my senior year. That was his first year as head coach in a big public school at Oak Ridge, and did some really good things there. Finished 5th in the county, 3rd in Central Florida in passing. Had over 8 scholarship offers. Ended up going to University of South Florida, which ironically happened after signing day, which is not heard of here nowadays. Right. You got to be locked in before. So the running back coach that he had at Florida Gators was now the recruiting coordinator at USF at the time, Coach Franks, and he was one that pulled the trigger through Skip Holtz at USF, and so they took a chance on me, and it was an awesome year and a half there. And then I ended up transferring, which is not called the portal back then, but ended up going to Webb International. I just wanted to play football at that time. Experiencing the Division I level, that was a great check mark off the list. It was a phenomenal experience playing in front of 80,000 people, and getting to be a part of a program that was on the trending going up. And so being under Skip Holtz, who his dad's legendary Lou Holtz, he came to our practices, so it was really cool to be a part of that. But at the end of the day, man, as competitors, we want to play. And they had BJ Daniels, he's coming back for his 5th year. Bobby Evelt, he was coming back, and he had 2 more years. So to see myself playing in that offense would have probably taken until my senior year, and I didn't want to wait. I just had the itch to play, especially going through a spring ball finally and getting some meaningful reps and not being a freshman anymore. I'm like, I want to play. So ended up getting my release after our exit meeting in the spring, and contacted 5 schools, and Weber was the first one to reach out to me. And without even seeing me, they offered me a full scholarship. They said, you come here, you're our guy, we need a quarterback. So I'm like, well, that's the only reason why I'm in here. I would love to obviously play at a higher level, but at the end of the day, it's about the opportunity. And so I took that chance, went to Webb International, started the first game I went there, had a great redshirt sophomore year, and ended up tearing my ACL in that spring, kind of set me back a little bit, but it was a humbling experience because I needed it to get back in my relationship with God. I was kind of losing myself being a starting quarterback in college, and got humbled like 3 days after my 21st birthday, and kind of reset my faith into my Christianity faith with my belief in Jesus. And so through that, I knew in that moment, I was like, hey, if football was taken away from me, because it got serious, it was like, this was the first time I actually experienced a real injury. I was like, I want to get back to this game because I love it so much. And so I was like, if I can't do it, I want to make sure I put people in position, if they get to live the stuff that I did at this point, that they get to experience that, and I would help them in any way, which is quarterback training. So ended up finishing at Webber National in 2014 with a sport business management degree. Ended up winning a conference championship my senior year there. So it was the first time in program history they won a championship. So it was pretty cool to leave with something like a legacy, I would say. And then I was blessed enough to start my own training business in January of 2015. Came back to Oak Ridge to coach under Elijah Williams, who was still there at the time. Right. He brought me in to be his quarterback coach. And so that was kind of how I started my whole training business during that time period. And through that, I was still, learning social media. Twitter had just come out, Instagram. So I was still posting videos of me working out and training. And got a call from a professional arena team. And they were through connections and stuff. There was 2 games left at the Central Florida Jaguars and Lakeland, and they signed me. And ended up balling out those 2 games. Had no idea about the game. I was still fresh, so I was still able to play. Obviously, I was young.
Right.
Balled out. I actually got invited to play in an arena all-star game during Thanksgiving of 2016. Ended up winning MVP of that game, and through that I was able to sign with another team that was more established, which was the Lakeland Tarpons, which was originally Fort Myers Tarpons. They moved up and to Lakeland, and so I was able to continue my career in playing. And then the Orlando Predators called me in 2018, 2019. Ended up going to the Orlando Predators, and that was right after I threw at a Florida State Pro Day with Naquan Murray. He invited me, so I was the only quarterback that threw that day because they didn't have any seniors, which is amazing. So all 32 NFL teams was there. I got to talk to Seattle, got to talk to a couple different NFL programs. I didn't have an agent at the time. I was just there doing a favor for Naquan, and ended up did everything for the pro day. So it was really cool. It was like my opportunity to live that dream again of potentially maybe making the NFL. Who knows? Again, I had a couple contacts that reached out to me about potentially bringing me in camp. So it was a really cool experience. But at the end of the day, I ended up going back to the arena game, played with the Orlando Predators, and then broke my hand. And I realized in the last game that I played, when I broke my hand, I'm like, you know what? I want to focus on training because that's really where my heart is. I love playing the game, but I love making more impact. And so my training business at that time, I was like 3.5 years in, starting in 2015. So this is 2019, so about 4 years, and it started to really pick up. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put my whole effort into this, and it just took off from there. So been training for about 10 years now. Been blessed enough to coach in Elite 11 for 6 years. I've been blessed to, when I met you for the first time, we did Rat Pack 707, was able to venture out in different organizations. Florida Fire came to Orlando. They wanted me to take over. I took over for about 2 months, realized, I'm about the kids. That's a whole different conversation, a great program. But for me, I just really want to focus on training, man. And so through that, been blessed enough to really put myself in a big situation where I'm traveling across the country, doing camps with all ex-NFL players, Quincy Carter, Kurt Warner, Jeff Blake, Charlie Ward. They've all been on my podcast, been all on my virtual school stuff. So it's been really a blessing, man, through this whole journey of networking and training to where that's where I focus on my time and what I do here in Orlando.
You went through a lot, so I'm going to go back because you had some things that I want to make sure that we get focused on. First thing you said was you mentioned 2 guys, and this is a shameless plug, y'all. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. You mentioned Elijah Williams and B.J. Daniels, both of my boys. They're my fraternity brothers now. We'll get back to this. But so the most important thing you said was your relationship with God. And I literally had this conversation today. That's why when you said it, I think that sometimes young men have to go through some sort of adversity so that they can have a humbling experience, so that they can go to God. And a lot of times when you're an athlete, the humbling is coming from either an injury or you're not playing, one of the two. And so I do want you to kind of, because we deal with young guys all the time. And the difference is I'm 54. These guys don't realize I used to have a 6-pack. I used to be, but you're still
stay great. Let's go, baby.
You're still young, so they can see, like, you can still show them how to throw a ball, so that makes a difference. And I tell people that all the time. Like when kids are training, like if a kid's messing up, you can say, no, you need to roll this way, versus, I can't tell a kid how to dunk no more. Them days over with. So your faith and you getting broke down and humbled. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I think that's always the most important thing, because I think, faith is everything.
Oh, 100%. It's the only thing. And I'm very big on my Christian walk. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm very public about it. People have a problem with it. So be it. I pray at all my camps. I talk about my story at my camps. Again, I no disrespect to any religions. I'm all about love and compassion and loving the sinner, not the sin, stuff like that. But as far as my faith, I grew up in a Christian home. My parents really raised my sister and I to be strong in our faith and read the Bible 10 minutes a day and making sure that we're always praying and believing that God has a plan. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man, it really takes me back to my junior year when I was at Boone. I was in a position where I was really battling to get an opportunity. The guy that I was competing with was also my same grade, who was also one of my best friends growing up, Sam Hutzel. And it was a tough situation because I know the legacy that his dad's left there. His mom's the cheerleading coach there. His brother's starting safety there. So there's a lot of plus and factors for him to be the guy at Boone. And, I always felt like my dad preached, outwork your competition. And I felt like I was doing that, but I was never really getting the reward of that, and he's a phenomenal athlete. I'll never take anything away from Sam. He's special. But I believed I was too. And I knew the work that my dad put me in. I'm talking, I'm coming home every day, going to the weight room. My whole weight room's in my garage, and I go shoot basket for 30 minutes, go to the batting cage for 30 minutes and throw routes for 30. I mean, this was my life every single day since I was in second grade. So I knew I had prepared myself to have an opportunity to be in the moment. And at that point, Boone was at the top. We went to the state championship my sophomore year and the state semis my junior year, lost to Seminole, who ended up beating Northwestern my junior year. So, and we were up 10 at halftime. So it could have been our year to win state at Boone, whatever. Regardless, I was a part of so much good tradition and so much good history at Boone that, I really wanted to bet on myself. And again, Shelton Lewis, a great guy, a good friend of my dad's, was at Oak Ridge, and he said, look, we have an opportunity for you to meet Elijah Williams. And this was over Christmas break going into, halfway through my junior year. And so we met with Coach Elijah Williams, and it was, obviously that's illegal now, but back then, we were just trying to make an opportunity for me. So we met with him. He said, hey, come to school on a Monday right after Christmas break. We'll start fresh at Oak Ridge. And that's what I did. And I was there for about 3.5 weeks, and it was the best 3.5 weeks of my life. I'll never forget the first day I get to campus. Obviously, it's a different culture, right? Going from Boone to Oak Ridge.
And for people who don't know, because people don't know, Boone is more of a predominantly white school. Oak Ridge is a predominantly Hispanic and black, school. And Boone is a little bit more well-off to do. Oak Ridge is not. Go ahead. Yeah,
so exactly. First day on Main Street, we had one light flickering. I mean, it was pretty rough, but I loved that because I felt there was more genuineness there than anything else. The relationships were real. People actually cared, because they want to see change. And whereas Boone, growing up in a community where I feel like a lot of things, I want to say bad. It was just everything we felt like was given to us. It was like, whatever. But so I get to Oak Ridge, and first day I was there, Coach Williams introduced me to the team, and it was like, oh, white quarterback, which I'm Spanish, but people, white quarterback, Tom Brady, we're going to state. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, I'm all about it. Played about 4.5 hours of 7-on-7 that exact day after school, and it was amazing. So much talent, so much speed, and of course, Coach Will's out there. His pedigree is, he's a little different now. So it was almost like that perfectionist, the mindset that my dad always instilled in me. He was, and so he was just like a father figure to me off the rip, and he took me under his wing. And those 3.5 weeks were the best time. I talked to Tennessee, Miami, Florida. I mean, we're talking big time recruits coming in to see me, and this is the spring of my junior year, which is the most important, where the real committable offers come. And all of a sudden I get a call randomly on a Sunday night that, hey, you got to go back to Boone because there was a complete investigation that we didn't even know about. My mom had ideas, but the principal, the AD, the Miss Hutzel, like there was a bunch of people that were involved that kind of turned me in and was like, hey, you legally transferred. And sure enough, I did. They put me into a magnet program. They did the best they could, but in their eyes, they're thinking I'm helping the school by, I was a straight A student, but they didn't care. Regardless, you had to be in the district. And so that night, I'll never forget when my mom told me, man, I broke down. It was like I had experienced for the first time everything I've worked for in my whole entire life, and it felt like it just got snatched from me. And I'm like, God, I don't know where else to go. And I'm like, if you're real, why did this happen? I'm in my room, and I'm literally on my floor doing push-ups and sit-ups, listening to Z8.3. It's a Christian radio station here in Orlando. I'm a junior in high school, and I'm like, God, you're not real, man. This is fake. Like, I've worked so hard for this, and you just stripped this away from me. It really hurt me in my soul, man. And I was contemplating, my faith, my abilities, my career, my future, all in like 45 minutes. And I finally just stopped, and I'm like, God, you know what? if this next song on the radio is not Sitting on Our Knees by Toby Mac, I'm done with you. You don't exist. This is all fake. Everything I've learned in my whole life, like, you got to show up. Like, I got to feel the presence of God I got to really feel it. Like, it can't just be something I'm told about. I want to feel it. Sure enough, dude, I'm not even joking. This is, I promise on everything I love. It was the middle of a song when I said that, and the very next song played Sitting on Our Knees by Toby Mac, and my whole body went in complete chills. It was the first time in my life that I really experienced the presence of God. And that's how I know it's real, because I'm like, the chances. I mean, come on. God could have spoken to so many different ways.
Right.
And he hit me right there, dude. My whole body went numb. I'm like freaking out. And I'm like, God, in this moment, I'm giving my life to you. You clearly have a plan for me that I don't know about. I got to trust the process. I got to. I have no other choice. You're the only thing that can really get me through this. And you have a plan for me. So I'm giving my life to you. So I technically became a born again Christian my junior year. That night, I was told I had to go back to Boone. So by God's grace, that had to happen for me to experience that moment. And so literally I went the rest of that spring at Boone, didn't play football. I know Coach Ziegler pulled me into his office, like, what can we do to get you to stay? Do you want to play another position? You know, running backs available, safety, whatever. I was like, no, I'm a quarterback. That's what I've been my whole life, and that's what I'm going to do. And if it's not going to be here, it's going to be somewhere else. And so I told him that. And, you know, Ziegler, he's not the easiest guy to talk to, and to say that in front of him was tough, but I knew there was so much hurt because I experienced for the first time I had it, and then just to be back in the same situation, those that know me, you know, when I get competitive, I talk trash. And so what do you think I'm doing those 3 weeks I'm at Oak Ridge? I'm talking trash to Boone because we're in the same district.
Right.
So it was a lot of emotions, you know, cooped up in the whole situation. So I could go back to Boone and I'm sitting in the same chairs I was talking trash to the guys I'm with. You know, it just wasn't easy. But anyway, so now I obviously go to senior year, go to Oak Ridge, everything planned out the way it's supposed to, got to live the dream playing Division I, blah, 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 blah. So now I get to Weber International. And we talked about the injury that really set me back. So now I'm the starting quarterback at Weber. Everything's going great. You know, I feel invincible. You know, unfortunately, there's girls involved. There's cheating on tests. You know, the lifestyle that you think that us Christians won't experience, I experienced. Right. You know, I'm here. I mean, at USF, I wasn't naive. I mean, the first couple of weeks, you know, the access is there. Right. So let's not be fooled, athletes that are listening to me. Like, you are going to experience things in college that you probably, as a Christian or not really experience the world.
Let's call it out temptation.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Temptation's there, 100%. And you could be as strong as you want in your faith when it's right in front of you and you're playing football. I mean,
17, 18, 19 years old.
Exactly.
Right.
It's right there. So I got caught into the drinking and to the girls or whatever. And especially at Weber, when I turned 21, you know, it got exposed. And my Facebook was a thing, and Instagram just came out. And my best friends, who's still in my wedding, Control Mims, my boy, shout out to him. I went to his house on my 21st birthday, a Wednesday, 3 days before my spring game. And I'm you know, drinking, having a good time, put a picture of Jello shots on Facebook. And mind you, my parents never missed anything in my life. Never. Right. They went to all my stuff. Support's very important. And my parents mean the world to me. If my dad's in the stands, I just need to see him first. And it's like, it's game on. Right. So Friday, you know, I think things are settled down. This is the day before a spring game on that Saturday. Friday night, I'm literally sitting in my little beach house. I'm by myself, and this is the night before my spring game. And I'm like, God, like, I have like one of those moments where I'm like, God, like, everything in my life is going great. Everything. And I know I'm doing everything wrong. I'm getting straight A's, you know, I'm the starting quarterback, you know, I'm getting attention, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, God, I don't feel you anymore. Like, I know I'm a child of yours, and I know over this course, this year and a half being at USF, now Weber, right, like, I need to experience you, because I'm like, you punish your children, you try to reset us, but I didn't get any of that. It was everything that I want from a worldly perspective, I was given to. And so it freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, God, you know, I want you to humble me, but in a way that I'm able to, you know, pick my feet up. But I want to know that I'm still a child of God. Like, I want to know I'm still with you. And this is Friday night, right, by myself before my spring game. Trickle-down effect. Next morning, I wake up, go to team breakfast right before the spring game. I get a text from my dad. Hey, I'm just letting you know, I saw something on Facebook that your sister showed me. So my sister showed my parents the pictures of Jello shots.
Always.
Yeah.
The sisters always.
Oh, man. Right. So she was like, hey, what's this? What? You know, and sure enough, my dad's like, look, we're not going to come to your game. And, you know, it's as much as this hurts us, you know, we don't like the things that we're seeing, and we don't agree with it, so we're not going to come. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, whatever. They don't want to see their 21-year-old son now grow up. So I'm like, sure, we'll put it to the side, whatever. I'm good. I don't need them to be there. I'm the guy. Sure enough, we're talking 30 minutes before kickoff. My best friend, O'Neal Lubin, who played point guard at Oak Ridge, she's now at Warner Christian, which is right across the street. He's like, hey, I want to watch you play. Never seen me play since high school. I was like, yeah, I'll come pick you up. Mind you, this is 30 minutes before kickoff. I'm like, yeah, I'll come pick you up. What are they going to do? Start without me? So I go to Warner, grab him, come back. Sure enough, there's like 5 minutes before kickoff. I don't even have a dress on. Everybody's already on the field warming up. I'm the quarterback. I go in the locker room, boom, we'll put my stuff on. I'm, trotting on the field. Everybody's like, where you been at? And I'm like, good. So I throw a couple like warm up passes. I'm ready to go. When I tell you I had the game of my life, I felt invincible, man. Anything I did, I'm like, oh, click, 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 touchdown, click, click, touchdown. It was so easy. I'm seeing the field. I'm like, this is awesome. And I have all the fans. This is the first time also the spring game was on campus. They had just got their field on campus. So all the parents and all the friends and all the faculty, all students, all around the field, they're right there. And I'm balling. Sure enough, last play of the spring game. I'm not even supposed to be in the game. My day is over. He puts me back in. Right. He's like, let's just finish the spring game on this last drive. So I get boom, first down, boom, second down, boom, third down. We're just running RPO stuff, just trying to get through the game. Last play, we had a penalty on third down that pushes back 10 yards, personal foul, whatever. It wasn't on me. It's like 4th and 15. He calls the play. It's like all verts. I'm like, perfect. Last game, I'm just going to throw it up. Then he changes it to a flood concept. Again, it's 4th and 17. You want to get the first down. Like, you're not calling flood. We're trying to stretch you vertically, especially in cover 3. I want to hit the seam, whatever. But I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll read it. Sure enough, I'm under center, do a 5-step drop. My read, the backer bails. It's cover 3, so I throw the flat route. As soon as I throw the flat route, I get hit my blind side. Didn't know it was happening. A blitz came from the backside. The guard fell backwards. His helmet hit the inside or the outside of my left knee as I planned to throw the ball. Boom. In an instant, torn ACL. I remember sitting on the ground, and it was like a pin drop was there. And I'm like looking around. One of my best friends, again, I say best friends because all these guys were in my wedding. Stephen Willis was a safety. He jumped on me and he started praying for me. And again, I don't know what's happening. All I know is I got hit from my blind side. Don't know it was lower body, and I'm laying on the ground. I can't move. And so he's praying for me, and I'm thinking, okay, Willis McGahee. I'm a Miami fan. I remember as a kid, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not good. So after he's done praying for me, literally laying on top of me, I look down and my legs are perfect. They're straight out. And I'm like, okay, so my leg doesn't look like it's flapped over. So I'm good. So I try to get up. I can't. It's a tingling feeling in my leg. And I'm like, okay, this is not good. Sure enough, as I'm looking at my leg, I look at the crowd and everybody's watching me. It's a pin. I'm telling you, it's like a pin drop. And when I tell you, AG, I felt the most peace that I've ever felt. Even though in the moment I'm thinking, the one moment I need my parents, they're not here. So that was humbling in itself. I'm like, the one time I really need my parents, they're not here. I could have suffered the worst injury in sports, which, by the way, it was about 10 years ago. Yeah. This was career ending, so this is not easy. And of course, I didn't know it was an ACL at the time until MRI results, but I know it's severe because I couldn't move. But I'm looking at the crowd and everybody else's parents is there. Everybody else's family is there, friends, family, whatever. And I don't have mine. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm literally on the ground and I need their help. So the people get me, they put me on the cart, they cart me off. And as I'm getting off, I'll never forget the peace that I felt. And in that moment, I'm like, God, you just answered my prayer. I don't know the severity of this injury, but I know I needed this because I just went from hero to zero in literally the last play of the spring game. Everything that I earned got stripped. Starting quarterback, gone now. Now I'm in rehab. Now I'm the Mr. Popular. Well, nobody knows who I am because now I'm on the bench. Right? So now it's like, oh my goodness, this was the most humbling experience. And that was the only way I knew God can reel me back right into being, in my Christian faith and getting back on the path that he had for me. And so through that process, I was blessed enough to get back in 5.5 months, which is unheard of. That's a 9-month recovery. 5.5 months fully cleared. Now I did some crazy things. I was running 5 miles a day without my PT knowing. I was doing some crazy stuff that I had a 99% chance of re-tearing it, especially in the first 3 months. It's not even ACL until it molds. And I had my hamstring graft. It wasn't even a cadaver. So I needed healing. But in my mind, I'm like, no, God, you gave me this. This is something that you're going to teach me through these moments. I'm going to get through anything that I've technically put on myself, but I know you have it for a purpose. And so I did that and was able to come back. Actually moved to safety because they didn't trust me at quarterback. My first ever game was against Jacksonville University, who no longer exists. Got a 55-yard pick six with a big brace on me. I knew how to read the field. I was a quarterback, so I kind of baited the quarterback. It was 3rd and 15. I went one way, broke to the left. He tried to throw a seam on me, picked it off, went 55 yards. So that was a cool moment. I'll never forget it, right? But I was a quarterback, so my senior was a quarterback, and the rest is history. But I just say that to say, God really showed up in those moments where I really needed him. And in that moment, I didn't know what he was doing, especially with the ACL, but I knew the peace that he gave me because I knew in one moment, anything can be taken from you, so you just got to make sure you stay humble, stay prayed up, stay in your Bible, and don't lose the faith like most of us really do if we're realistic,
right.
In that college environment, especially when you're an athlete. It's so easy, man. I'm USF, I'm a redshirt freshman. I don't even see the field. I'm a scout team guy, and I'm going to this party, that party, and they're like, oh, Baylin, what's up? Number 14. Oh, you're the quarterback. And it's like, I'm not even on the field. So I can only imagine when you're the guy. So
you BJ.
BJ Daniels, right. And he was smart because he was in that scene, so he never went to those things. But I know if he did, everybody's trying to get a picture or hang out, or whatever the case may be. So, but yeah, man, my faith is the number one thing in my life, and I tell all the kids, that I go to camps, and I've been blessed through this training business. Been sponsored by I Am Second, which is the nation's number one influential Christian organization, and I fly to Dallas all the time and do like things with them and the company, and do evangelist stuff around the neighborhoods in Dallas, and it's been a blessing, man. I Am Second's a big part of my life, and it was huge. I even got it tatted on me, man. It was just something I looked forward to as a kid. My dad talked about Tony Dungy being involved and what I Am Second means. I love it because I have it on my bumper, and people say, what's I Am Second? Why would you want to be second? Well, God's first. That's why. And then they're like, oh, I get it. Right. So that's just the mentality that I have. I'm not ashamed of it. And it's all glory to God that I'm actually sitting here with you right now. So,
yeah, man, I as someone who, have been around kids and known you when you was a little kid, like, you mentioned your pops, but, your mom is definitely probably one of the coolest people I know. I've known her for some time. Real nice lady, was always giving back to the community.
Yeah.
That's how we met years and years ago when you was a little one. But I knew that the kids needed to hear that, because I literally was having that conversation with someone today because they was asking me about Assad, and I was just telling them, with God, a lot of times when you're going through it, you can't see what it is.
Yes.
And that's just like how you just explained, like I said with Assad, even with us going to West Orange and the coaches bad mouthing them and their I did not understand at the time. Right. But as I went through it, I realized God was telling my son needed some humbling, because he had jumped off, freshman year, great freshman year, great sophomore year, had 30-some offers. He need, and I knew it one day. We were at 707, and he told a kid something like that. And I'm sitting there like, dude, that's so, like why would you say something like that? Because to me, whether you're the best player in the world or the sorriest player in the world, we're playing right now. We're competing.
Yeah.
Like, so what is that Google? So I remember that like it was yesterday, and I knew that he needed some humbling. So God humbled him, and he had to get out the mud, as they would say. And God, he has a tendency to humble us, but then, once we get the message, he'll bless us again. And sometimes he has to, like in your case, he had to humble you again.
Yeah.
Because he wanted you to get that message.
Right.
And so, man, I think that's really important. Now let's fast forward to, all the training and stuff you do.
Yeah.
I was around when you first got started. You said something else I want to go back to. You brought up the 707.
Yep.
And, we did, because we were originally top recruits, then we became Rat Pack,
yep.
Then we were serving them. But you came along, and I know, the Florida Fire Group, and we had a conversation, because most people don't know that we talk.
Oh, yeah.
They think that, I look at you as like almost like a son to me, because I'll say, hey, Baylin, I say, Baylin, hey, XYZ, Baylin, da-da-da.
Yep.
But even when that Florida Fire situation went down, and we got to get into that part.
Yeah.
But you called me, and I told you then, I don't know if you remember this. I said, Baylin, you need to train. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, you can't, my exact words, you can't be the 707 guy, the training guy, and the coach.
Yep.
I mean, because you were the coach.
Yep.
707.
And that's what hurt me. That's really why I got out.
Right.
It just was too much.
Remember I told you?
And you told me. And you warned me.
And I knew that I knew that was your, like, for me, my thing is like I really like to see younger guys reach their callings. I mean, I really do. Like, that's like the greatest thing in the world, because you know this now, because you've been a teacher. I met you back in the day, you brought up Shelton, who's a great guy, always has been. But you know what it's like to see, and you're probably getting to that point where a lot of the kids you taught, now you're seeing them be grown and be successful. Like, prime example, Damari Stewart. Like, to see him doing so well.
Yeah.
Because we remember when he was a fat, chunky guy. Now he's Mr. Workout guy. He's also
up,
remember our fraternity Kappa Alpha Psi of C-D-Lo.
Yeah.
A kid that a lot of people did not think. Right. A lot of people didn't think he was going to do that, but he has 2 degrees.
Yeah. FAU and
so, 2 good degrees,
crazy.
by the way. You know. So, tell the people, because a lot of people, they know you train quarterbacks, but like you kind of shared that you share your story.
Yeah.
You shared your faith. what do you think is the most important thing that a quarterback can have? That's a test, because I'm going to tell you what Mike Leach said after you said, but what do you think is the most important? Well, give the people attributes about a quarterback and then tell them what is the most important attribute a quarterback should have.
Yeah, so I think the attributes, obviously you have to have a good arm. Now, again, you distinguish between the good arm that can, the thrower that can throw, or the athlete that can throw, right? You have to distinguish. If you're an athlete that can throw, okay, great, but you also have to have the mind. So the IQ level, you have to have a high IQ level. That means understanding the game and the purpose of why you're throwing where you're throwing. You can't just go out there and just be a sandlot guy. That's great, but you can if you're not playing the real game of football. But if as far as a quarterback, you got to have the arm talent, you got to have the IQ level, you also have to have the leadership qualities, you have to be confident in yourself. And I think that's really the main thing, is that when you have confidence, you can probably do all those other things. But you really have to be strong in who you are as a person. And a quarterback is much more than, again, just the leader of a team. You're responsible for everybody's, stuff. You have to know what the defense is doing, what your offense is doing, your line's doing, check protections, making sure you're okay, knowing the playbook, which can be easy at times. And obviously you have to be coachable. You have to be coachable. If you're not coachable, you're never going to make it, because you think you can do it all. And then there's going to be a time where you're going to need that coaching and you're going to reject it, and it's probably not going to work out for you. So there's so much, there's so many things that can go into a quarterback, and it's probably, in my opinion, and I'll say it, I don't care if it's opinion or fact, but quarterback is the hardest position in all sports, no matter what you play. It's tough. It's not easy, because if it was, everybody would do it, and everybody wants to do it.
You're going to get the blame. It's the one position that no matter what, you're going to get the blame.
The blame and all the praise.
All the praise. Yeah. So it really is. And I see kids all the time, like, everyone is not destined to be a quarterback. I mean, because you do have to be smart. Like you said, you have to know everybody's job. Yep. It's not just about you knowing. And what I used to focus on in 707 is you being a leader. Yep. You almost have to be. Like there's no ifs, ands, and buts.
You can't be a quarterback if you're not a leader.
You can't. And there's different forms of leadership.
Correct. There's the silent leading, and there is the vocal leader.
But you're going to have to be a leader to a certain degree. I mean, and you have to, command respect. And when I was talking about earlier, Mike Leach, I met him because my oldest son was at Washington State. Yeah, but he always said that the most important thing a quarterback should have is accuracy. Accuracy. That's it. I say that because most people don't know, shameless plug, but my little youth league quarterback was Ty Demmer. And so Ty didn't have the strongest arm. Yeah. But Ty had great accuracy. Yep. But right now, as far as Central Florida, you have probably this class, and I tell people this all the time. Central Florida is a strange, unique area, because it's always either one group is always exceed. Like, this may be the year for tight end. Yeah. This may be the year for DBs. This may be the year for running backs. But 2026 is easy the year for quarterbacks. Bless. Yeah. And you deal with all of them. Yeah. And all of them are different. All of them are different. Yep. So I know that you're not, and that's the beautiful thing about you also being a teacher. That everybody learns differently. So you have to, like, that's what I'm saying. Those are things that, like, you probably never even thought of. I thought of it because, like when you start talking about God, that's another way that God made sure that He'll prepare you for this journey. There you go. And so right now you have 5 that I know of, like 26, that are really
elite.
Right.
I have about 7. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm talking about. That's what I said. I know 5. I know. And I'm saying, like,
there's a couple that travel literally from all over the country.
Right. I'm just talking about in Central Florida, and so, you're gonna always have, that's the reason why I tell you that you couldn't coach, because if you were coaching, you wouldn't be able to do that. Correct. So tell the people a little bit about those 4 to 5 guys. What the different relationships, and another thing I know that people ask, and it could happen because. I know personally that you represent all of them. Yeah. But people will say, well, this is his guy, or this is his guy, or so just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, first I want to talk about some of the guys that I actually did train that
previously.
Previously, just because again, I didn't get to this point without the history behind it, because I know at some point you're gonna have to start building credibility, and I know, again, I believe that all the kids I train are elite. So like even the Casey St. John's of the world, that was my first ever kid that I trained. He was an elite. He has several Boone records to this day, and yet he never got the opportunity to play because he decided he wanted to go to FSU as a student instead of going to Stetson or whatever. So that was his decision. But like, there's guys that were diamonds in the roughs that was here in Central Florida. They just never was able to put themselves on the big platform with the connections that I have now. And that was built over time. Right. And I've been blessed enough with that and build connections, relationships with college coaches because you said I focus solely on quarterback training. So now when I'm doing that, now I'm traveling the country, building networking, going to this seminar, going to this coaching clinic, and just building a network. Bang, bang, bang. Going to coaching this All-American game and meeting 5 coaches from Temple, Arkansas, and all this. So then now I'm building my network. So, and that's the only way I was able to do that through just focusing solely on training. So that's why I got out of coaching. But some of the guys that you guys might have heard of that I've worked with and blessed worked with, Tommy Castellanos was at UCF, was a part of that transition between UCF and Boston College. He trained with me several times. I was able to help him navigate through his recruiting process when he left UCF, and he's now a big name at Boston College looking for big things. John Rice Plumlee, recently with UCF, when he came and transferred here, he started working with me. DeAndre Johnson was a Florida Player of the Year out of high school and went to Florida State. And
That's
then went
my
to
cousin.
FAU.
You know that, right?
Oh, really? DeAndre?
Yeah,
Love that guy. Yeah, he's a special talent.
He's a good kid. His journey with God.
His
story. I'll have to have him on the show.
Story. Big story. You got to have him on the show, man. He's got some stuff to talk about. But Nkosi Perry, who played at Miami, started working with him before he got drafted in the CFL. Casey Thompson, who was at Texas, now at Oklahoma, was at Nebraska for a short stint. Woody Barrett, most people know him, was a UA All-American. Also worked with Colin Drafts. Was able to meet him through that. Marvin Washington, Dr. Phillips, great, UConn. Quadri Jones, UCF, also played at Oak Ridge and Jones High School. Zion Turner was at St. Thomas Aquinas, went to UConn. Nick Scalzo, Kentucky Samford. Jordan McLeod, USF, Arizona, and now he's at Texas State, your alma mater.
Yeah, I know Jordan and his family. I've known Ray and those guys forever. I know him since he was a little kid.
That's my guy. Casey Case, Buffalo, went to Winter Park. Gino English, FSU. Gardner Webb, now at Eastern Kentucky. Julian Calvez, Grambling. Cameron Ransom, now the starting quarterback. Bethune-Cookman was at Georgia Southern. Chad Masco, who's at Campbell, special talent. Love his dad. Dylan Risk, UCF backup. Riley Trujillo, UCF. Now, no relation. I train him, but no relation there. It's a hilarious story there. Cohen Kohler, my cousin, who was at Valdosta State. Aiden Warner, who's now at Florida, was at Yale. D'Angelo Fulford, who's the all-time leading winningest quarterback at Mount Union, who's a powerhouse. DJ Murray recently won a state championship. Now is at Georgia State. Junior Maradovic, who your son played for, FAMU, trained him a little bit. Brennan Sear, USF. So there's some of the names that are locally that I've, over the years, been able to work with. I did work with Mackenzie Milton and DeAndre Francois one time. So those are, cool moments or whatever. But just been blessed, man, to really work with some of the local talent here, whether it's at UCF or played high school here in Orlando. Been blessed enough to work with them. So, but then going now back to this 26 class, which arguably, in my opinion, over the last 10 years of me doing this business is the best class of quarterbacks in the country. If you look at it from all spectrum, I mean, Julian Lewis was even in this class at one point. Obviously went up. He's at USC he's committed there. But man, I'm talking.
Historically,
this is crazy.
Historically, it probably is like across the board.
Across the board. We're talking all the way from here to LA.
But it's definitely the best in Central Florida.
We have the best here, but across the country, Jared Curtis, who just committed to Georgia, he's in the 26 class, and he's the first one to get off the board. So, we have some special talent.
It's going to be a lot of schools that are going to get some talented kids.
And here's the thing, man, and through this process, it's been a blessing because now guess what? Because I train 4 of the top 10 in the country here in Orlando, I built a network. So now every college is calling my phone because they can't contact these guys till June 1st or June 15th, right? So this whole year as a sophomores, as all of them been starting, I'm the point of contact because I represent all these guys. And the best part about them is I was able to develop them, like true development. We're talking, I'm not training these guys just because they were already a big name and they want to train with me because I'm local. No, I'm talking Darion Coleman, who's at Jones, I got him when he was 10 years old. His only other guy that he worked with was his dad. Now he's at Jones High School, big-time recruit. Look him up. He's number 4 in the country as a dual threat. Then you got Michael Clayton, who was a basketball kid whose dad said, hey, he wants to play quarterback. We'll check him out. His 5th grade year comes to me, and now all of a sudden I told his dad, I said, if you drop the basketball, you'll be the number 1 quarterback in the country. Now this is the time I worked with him, and now he's number 10 in the country. And he's got over 17 Division I offers. Now you got Brady Hart. Hey, I got him. He never played football until 8th grade year. He's a baseball All-American. His dad was a baseball All-American in Florida. He was a baseball kid. His dad said his passion is football. He loves it. He comes to me on a training. I break him down so bad to the point where he almost cried. And I literally looked at him and said, look, if you take this serious, you got so much talent. You take that baseball down, you will be another top quarterback in the country. And he did that. He quit baseball and focused solely on it. Trust my placement.
Real good kid, by the way.
Yeah, awesome kid, awesome family.
Yeah,
the whole family trusted my placement with him. This is why he's at Coco. And look at him now. He's number 3 in the country. Then you go to Noah Grubbs was also a baseball kid, but also played football young. And here's where Noah has really exploded, because at a young age he was at the Lake Mary Pop Warner, and he got coached under Tyson Henshaw and his dad. Now Tyson Henshaw is the brother of Darren Henshaw, who's at UCF OC, and so they're elite level of IQ.
By the way, make sure people understand, Coach Henshaw, no one really knows this, but he was a UCF record before Culpepper.
Snyder, my boy, he played with Snyder.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
right. People don't realize he really was good.
He was that guy.
Right. I think he might have over 9,000.
Yeah, he's a receiver, and he was the guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, Tyson was no joke. Yeah. And even though you talk to him now, you'll never guess. He's just such a cool dude. He's the receiver coach at Lake Mary now. Where
I'm talking about his brother.
Oh, Darren.
Yeah, people forget.
Darren was that guy, quarterback.
They really don't understand that Coach Henshaw was like literally really that guy.
He was that guy. Yeah. And my dad, I believe, played with one of them. My dad played in 89 at UCF. But yeah, man, so like I said, he got taught early the game. So the IQ level was already off the charts. Yeah. He just never had development. He just had a good arm, right? So even I think he played with the Popka Raptors a year, came back to Lake Mary.
He played with the Popka Blue Darters.
Yep, Blue Darters. Okay,
in the 8th grade, I saw him there, and I thought he was going to be pretty decent.
Yep. Yeah. So then,
Popka don't throw the ball. But when he came, he threw the ball.
Exactly. Right. And I know Tyson was there. They're good friends, and he was, they were doing the whole quarterback duo thing. But
much as I love Tyson, I
tried to train him too. Special guy.
I knew he was going to be pretty. Like,
and he should have won the state championship his freshman year, but we won't talk about that.
Hey, Popka's let a few. We won't talk about that. Popka's let a few. Popka's let a few. Fall by the wayside.
They have, and I was there for probably all of them. Yeah. But anyway, so Noah Grubbs, he comes to my camp in the summer of his 8th grade year. This is the beginning of the summer, and I had Quincy Carter there and Steven Garcia. They worked my camps, and he was there, and he was obviously in 8th grade at the time. And I split the groups up by age group, where the high school. Right. It's really by division. So high school, middle school, youth, right? And he's in the middle school, and he's already 6'3". All these other guys are little, and he comes to me in the middle of the camp. He's like, "Coach, do you think I can train with the high school guys?" And I'm like, I thought you already were. I didn't even realize. Right. And I'm like, yeah, jump right in there. And so he did. He finished the rest of the day with the high school guys. And after the camp was over, it's hilarious. His dad comes up to me and he goes, "Man, I'm glad you did that, because I didn't understand why he was with the young guys."
And I'm like, good pops too. He has a good dad.
Awesome dad. And I hope he's on this show, because he could tell you a lot about the recruiting side that we deal with together.
I already talked to him. He's going to definitely come on the show. I want to give another, because I've given people the Baxters, but their son's already in college.
Yeah, and you got to hear it from this perspective.
Hear from somebody
that's going through it right now. Yeah. And so when that happened, I was like, "Hey man, I honestly wish you would have stayed at middle school, not because I didn't want him to get to work, because regardless they do stations, but because I want to show these other middle schoolers this is what it looks like. Right. If you want to be a Division I talent, or at least see what it looks like, that's what that is at 8th grade. So let's not be foolish here." So I almost want him to separate himself.
We've had that conversation before. Yeah. One of the biggest things that I see across the board is people want to be a certain level, but you better know what it looks like.
Exactly.
And this is what I tell people, because people will say, "Well, how can you know what a football player is like if you never played it?" And I'm saying to them, because I know. Yeah. I know what they're looking for.
Right.
Like you said, everybody's looking for the 6'4", 6'5"
Correct.
quarterback that has a strong arm, that's accurate, that can sling it. Because one thing about Noah, my son, I love all the quarterbacks he played for, but Noah really puts it where it needs to be.
Oh yeah, there's so much stuff to his game that's elite. We're talking generational talent.
Right. Yeah. So and so I definitely think he's good. And then because you got one more kid.
Yeah. I'm not done with Noah now. So after the camp was over, we exchanged numbers. Mind you, he never had development. He comes to my training that next week, and this is the summer going into his freshman year. And I was like, "Look, you're a baseball kid. I know you're a baseball kid, because I can see how you're throwing the ball.
Correct.
But naturally, I know you have the talent." And I said, "Look, you put that baseball down, just like I told Brady Hart. I will. This was a promise, because I've seen it. I said, I will make you the #1 quarterback in the country." His dad looked at me like, maybe this is a publicity stunt, maybe this is for his business, whatever. But they bought in for whatever reason. And sure enough, now he's #2 in the country, arguably #1 in the country. He's #1 in Florida. He's got over 25 Division I offers. And that summer, 2 months after I got done training with him, he went to UAB camp. Darren Henshaw was the OC at the time. They offered him his first scholarship. Never even touched a high school ball yet. So I knew by that time he was already destined to be who he was.
And that's something I need to make sure that people know too.
Yeah.
Like, this is why I tell people all the time, if you're a young kid going into the 9th grade and you're really that guy, you might want to go. You might want to go to camp.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And Assad he got his offers going into the like that was important. That
Massive.
And so I tell people that all the time. You might want to take those kind of kids to camp because if they're really like that, then they're going to probably play varsity.
And I would trust the trainers, not the parents. I get with somebody that has an eye for talent. That way they can say, "Look, I believe this kid has the talent to do it."
We talk about that too now,
because every parent's going to say, "My kid's Division I." Well, okay, go waste your money, get a T-shirt, but you're not going to get recruited.
Well, see, that's what
you know what I mean.
Like and very rare do you have. Like I tell you, I had to fight Stephen Dick's daddy almost about him. And I'm like, dude, this kid looks like a Greek god. Big old muscular guy, man. He's 6'2", 210 in the 8th grade. What are we talking about? I'm like, that's what they want. I mean, and you know how I learned that? I tell people this all the time. When I first did my bus trips, this is before I met. This is with Tyreek Tisdale.
Yeah, Tyreek.
And Tyreek came on the bus, and Tyreek was
look him up by the way.
He got off the bus, but Tyreek in the 10th grade body was like 6'2", 215, all muscle, and he literally got off the bus. And I had all these other. I had Woody Barrett, I had Dexter Williams, all these guys that were big talent guys. But guess who they focused on when they got off the bus with the shirt off?
They seen that Under Armour
He had
model.
never played a down of football, and Urban Meyer offered him.
Oh man, that's crazy.
And I knew then, like that's and kids, if you're listening, please take the weight room seriously. Make sure your body looks a certain way.
Man,
you can literally just, if you have the look.
Oh, they salivate over that because they know they can develop you whatever they want. So if you got the tools, they're gonna tweak it. Trust me.
Right.
And he was a free. He can run.
And he can run. The boy was like 4'3" in high school.
Crazy.
So and I don't want to because if I forget this, if I don't let you get out this last guy, his dad is gonna kill me.
So there's two guys. I want to talk about the one that's here locally, Carter Emanuel.
Yeah, thank you.
Who I just trained. I literally trained him before I came here today. Special talent, man. And this is a true story. His dad came to me in the 5th grade, and he was short, little chunky little kid. And he
always was.
Yep. And he said, "Hey, I want you to train my son. He's a quarterback." I said, "All right, cool." So he goes to St. Cloud Hickory Tree Park, and it wasn't even 10 minutes. I had this kid puking. I'm talking puking. He hated me. But his dad's like, "You're finishing this. You are finishing this work." His dad, ex-NFL guy, All-American, whatever. He knows.
Yeah, no, like
he knows.
For those who don't know,
what
his dad is an ex-NFL guy. More importantly, if you go to West Virginia,
I'm
taking the kids there. They got a bus to this guy.
That's crazy. So he said, "You're finishing the workout." So after the workout was over, his dad literally called me. He's like, "I don't think he's ready for you." I'm like, well, I don't treat this lightly. Like, I don't care and I tell all the parents, and I love it, because my job is to weed you out. If I train my 5-year-old just like I train a pro guy, I will never change, because you can't dumb me down this position. And I think that's what really separates myself, is you see a lot of good job coaches out there. That's not me. If you're with me, I'm going to make sure I'm detailed. I will not treat my son the same. I'm going to make sure he's 22 months old. It's a laughing joke, but I'm in there. He's throwing the ball right now, because I'm like, hey, this is how you do it. Over and over.
I've seen the video.
Yeah, and it ain't no joke now. He's throwing that thing.
I'm talking about your bad, but I used to do the same thing with a son. To be really honest, the blessing I had an older son, so I never had to do anything. He naturally
pushed himself because he saw his son.
Right. I never had, like, they would be throwing the ball, and I never forget.
They naturally competing, baby.
I was there, and the kids would come to my house for the pop back in the day, Tom Smiths and all that, because Tom and all them, and I'm sitting there, and Tom, I'm washing dishes, and I just see the ball fly by, and Tom, and I see, this is a parent moment as a dad. I see him like, Tom, why are you throwing the ball at him like that, man? What's wrong with you? And the kid hit me. Tom hit me with the coldest line. He say, "Well, dang, coach, he caught it." Oh, and I was like, "All right, we're going back to school."
You ain't breaking now.
Right. If you break something, my wife.
Now we're gonna be.
Right.
Yeah, but, that's good. I like that.
But no, man, like you keep doing that with your son. That's your job.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like people don't know me and Lo are close, but that's what I admired about Lo. And I would tell anyone, Asad wouldn't have been as good as he was if it wasn't for Lo, because Lo saw something in him early. I'm talking about, I sit him over there with my son. I was like, "Man, my little son is all right." Lo was like, "Yeah, man, bring him over." I don't think he's ready. That kind.
Yeah.
And I was in Germany at the matter of time.
Wow.
And so Lo calls me. I'm in Germany. He says, "Man, he gonna be special."
Oh yeah.
And Lo, worked with. He said, "I said, what made you say?" He said, "Because I put him with the little kids, and then I put him with." He said, "I was like, man, I saw it. I trained him like he was a big kid."
Love that.
And he finished it. And parents, like, they get mad when you. And what they don't understand is, if a coach is doing that, that means he believes in your kid.
Yeah.
Because, what they don't understand is if we don't believe in your kid, man, we ain't, I'm not going to hold, like if I know your kid's terrible, I'm not going to hold him to a certain standard.
Yeah.
You know?
Or I'm going to be honest and I'm going to tell the parent after about 3 sessions, this might not be for you because I still care about the kid. You're wasting your time.
Right. You're wasting your time.
Or you're wasting time with me, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Like I'm not about building clientele. That's coming because of the work. I want to make sure the parent knows I'm going to put your son in the best position regardless if it's quarterback or not, because it does take a specific skill to play this position, and I'll know it quickly.
But I've acknowledged the other guys. We talked that conversation.
Yeah.
I think it's so bad that, and we had this conversation. I think that parents need to really get an honest evaluation.
There you go.
And and shameless plug, but if you go to coachrecruitme.com, you will be able to get an honest evaluation. I think every parent should learn, and what they do with the honest evaluation at coachrecruit.com, you have ex-NFL college guys, guys who actually know the position that can tell you what kind of level your kid's supposed to play.
I love that.
Because the problem is, you got, like we had a conversation before, I've heard you say this kid's not a Division I player.
Correct.
Like how you name some of the kids that went to other schools that weren't Division I. That's the mark. Like you can't be the guy that everybody you train is Division I.
Right.
Because that's not it.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that you don't love them or you don't want them to reach their full potential.
Exactly. Or play at any level. Right. I got guys playing NAIA, Division II. As long as they're playing college, I will tell everybody to this. And I even made a post about recruiting and all that. You said something to me. Well, not even to me. I remember this when I was with Rat Pack, and you told these kids, you said, it's not about Division I, it's about Division free, or it's not Division 1, 2, or 3. It's about Division D3 or D3. And I'm like, man, that is something I'll never forget because it's the truth. If you go to college, get your degree for free to play the sport that you love, it don't matter what level you're at. And that's why I'm a testament, because I played at the highest level and also played at the NAIA level.
And you have a what?
A degree. And I'm living my dream that I want to do, and I still got to play professional ball. I still got to experience the things that people don't think that they're going to experience at a lower level. No, if you're good, they will find you. The main thing is to get that piece of paper and live out the dream, because football will end one day. That will stop no matter what, right? Quickly. And it's quicker than you think.
And the thing that you were smart about, and this is what I wish I could get every kid, because if I had my wish, every kid would go to school on academic scholarship. If I had my wish, if I had my wish, like they would make all scholarships academic.
That's awesome.
Because that to me lets me know kids. Like
you're in it for the right reasons.
Like 0.02% are going to make the NFL.
Correct.
And that's just being real.
Yep.
But the reason I'm okay with scholarships, because I have relatives that were that 0.2%. But what they do, just like with Keywan Ratliff, he's a good. We know him. Good friend of mine. And when we were doing Rat Pack, I literally told Keywan, I was like, "How the hell are you going to tell these kids that they need to get degrees and you don't have one?" He went back and got his degree, and he went on, and now he's doing tremendous. He's making money.
Oh yeah,
he's at Florida State doing great.
Even though he's at his little rival there, they pay the check, baby.
But I told him because he struggled with it. But I said, look, man, are they paying you?
Right.
Because that's what
you deserve.
Right, right. He was getting a great. And he's put it like this. I finally saw him in Florida State gear.
Yeah, I did too.
After a while, you're like, hey man, look, they give
kind of weird. Right. He was chauffeuring around when I was with Noah at a game, and I'm like, hold on, this don't even seem right. But he's happy and he loves it.
That is Florida needs to do whatever they need to do to get him back. And I love Florida State. So, Coach, I love you guys. I think you're doing a great job. But you can't have a dude in the Hall of Fame.
I know.
A Hall of Famer working at your university. You just can't.
And he left everything here to be there.
That was it.
He left Rat Pack, everything to be at Florida.
I told him, I said, man, you got to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Because guess what? He doesn't even get that opportunity.
Yes.
If he doesn't have a degree. That's what kids don't even understand. Like, if you love football and you want to get into coaching, all you need is a degree.
Yeah.
And if you've established those relationships, because I always try to tell you young guys, either you go into training like you do, or you go and become a grad. Because, this dude's just doing GA and doing that kind of stuff. Right. And then all of a sudden now they're making 5, 6, like the head coach of USF.
Hey.
I knew him years ago. Yeah. He was a GA.
Yeah. Crazy part here. You want to know something even more crazy?
What's that?
Coach Sloan, he is now the OC and quarterback coach at LSU. He was the GA when I was at USF playing. And we were like, oh, he's the ball boy. He's this and that. He's making, I would say, a couple million now at LSU.
That's what happens.
As the quarterback coach.
That's why I told my son, hey, look, man,
Joe Sloan,
do not treat those guys messed up.
Because they're going to be
across
at
the board,
top.
Those are the guys, those analysts and whatever, those are the guys that end up being head coaches.
Because they do the most dirty work, so guess what? They're the most experienced.
They know how the program's supposed to go. Right.
Because they got to learn it.
Right.
Because you ain't going to have no job if you don't know it. But going back to Carter Emanuel, that whole deal. So 5th grade, he tells me, hey, this might not be for him. He's not ready for you yet.
Right.
Well, fast forward to obviously freshman year, a shout out to Rod Weatherford. Awesome dude. Love the guy. Nothing, he's in my competitor, right? I would say, but really not, because I love the guy. He started working with Carter, and he was his OC at Lake Nona, and, over the course of a year, whatever, being under his leadership, his dad was like, hey, maybe we can work with both now, because now I think he's ready. And sure enough, over this past, about 6 months, he's come back to me, and we train 2-3 times a week in Lake Nona. And like I said, I just left training him now, and I'm telling you, just to see his development, where he was, obviously my picture of 5th grade, him crying, throwing up, I hate football, to now he's got over 7 Division I offers, and, he's going to be the guy, the face of a big powerhouse program in Edgewater. I think, he's one of the guys, again, like you mentioned, he's a sleeper. He was at Rivals camp not too long ago, and the only name I really heard from that camp was Carter Emanuel. He lit it up. Didn't win MVP. Michael Clayton did. Shout out to Michael Clayton. And he balled out. And just Brady balled out. And Darion balled out. But the one guy that they were most impressed was, because, again, this guy's really under the radar, but he's still invited to these big camps because he has the offers, is Carter Emanuel. And I cannot wait to see what he does under Cameron Duke at Edgewater in that offense, which I believe is more geared for him than Michael Clayton. Michael Clayton, obviously, at Seminole, special coaching staff over there. I think they're going to do awesome things. I think Seminole's the team to beat in Orlando. That's another whole conversation. But
we'll have those conversations.
Yeah, but as far as Carter, I cannot wait to see the type of the men that Duke builds from the ground up, from leadership qualities, to taking them on mission trips, to playing overseas, to this development around Samaj and all those guys. I just think he's gonna become one of the top. He's gonna find his way in the top 10 somehow, and I'll have 5 of the top 10 guys in the country.
I tell you, and because I do the U.S. Army, for those who don't know, I am over the U.S. Army for Florida, the U.S. Army Bowl for Florida. Our game is in Dallas and all that. But
which, by the way, Noah Grubbs won MVP.
By the way, Noah Grubbs was MVP,
selected.
and he got selected to play in the game.
Yep.
I'll tell anyone, one of the things that people don't notice that I notice is Orlando has certain schools that are always historically good schools. Yeah. Like it's the Apopkas, it's the Seminoles, it's the Edgewaters, it's the Jones. Yeah. Those are the 4, and Osceola. Oh, yeah. Those are the 4 to 5. And when
maybe Dr. Phillips.
DP used to be as much.
They were
and they're still, they always going to have, like I was about to say, the other guys over the last 5 years, they always have talent. It's DP and West Orange.
West Orange, there you go. Yep.
But those other programs, they're doing a really good job of combining talent. Yeah. Even if they're losing guys, because the job that Apopka did after losing Jalen Carter was amazing. Yeah. Phenomenal. Because there's no way, none of us would have picked him to make it to state.
Crazy.
And then after.
Started, I think, 1-4.
Yeah, and none of us would have picked that. And even Tyson made it to state his freshman year. Yep. We would have never, picked him, to do that as well. Yeah. But when I see the one thing about Duke that's different, because all of them are different guys. Like every last one of those coaches, schools I name have different coaches. But one thing about Duke that I do love, he's always done a mission trip. Yep. And now they're blessed that they're literally going to be flying overseas.
And playing their first game
overseas. Yeah. And so that goes back to some of the, you put in the work and you don't see the results. And I know, I got guys that don't like Duke, but I've never had a problem with Duke.
I love that guy.
Yeah, me too.
We share the same birthday, by the way. Shout out
Duke has always been very nice to me. But more importantly, I like the way he deals with the kids, because my thing is, I'm old school. Mm-hmm. I think it's too much calling to these kids. You know I was with 7-on-7. I'm the person, like, I'm old school. I'm gonna talk to you crazy, but then I'm gonna cook you some food. Yeah, I mean, I have, and I think that's what these younger generations. So I appreciate you being hard, and that's something that you learn from your dad. Right. Because I tell people, the day I'm not hard on you, the day I'm not telling you, hey, you wrong, the day I don't care nothing about you.
There you go.
It's just that simple.
Bang. Dude, I'm telling you, man, that is it. In all my trainings, that's literally what I have to tell these kids. I've had kids cry. I'm not, and I'm not ashamed of it, because I know the passion I bring into it. And if you don't match that, you're going to feel some type of way. But the kids have to understand, and parents, you have to understand, if a coach stops talking to you, that's the day you start worrying, because that means they don't care anymore. So if I'm hard on you, it's because I see something in you that's going to make me want to be motivated enough to even talk to you to that point to where I'm going to get the most out of you. So if that stops, chances are probably, little Joe, you might want to go somewhere else, right? Or I'm going to have that conversation after day 3 with you and say, Mom and Dad, I would love to be his trainer, but this position might not be for him. So, and
that's the thing that, to me, that trainers have to be very frank and honest with parents.
Exactly.
Because like you said, it can't be about the money.
Correct.
Like I tell people,
The money's
going to
come. You got to be honest.
Even right now, like even on my college bus trip,
Yeah.
I tell parents already, like honestly, if your son's a senior
Yeah.
and he has no offers, they're like, if he comes, he's probably not going to get offers, but if you're a senior, you need to go to all the mega camps you can.
I agree with you.
Like if you're a senior,
Because you don't have no offers, if you don't go, guess what? You're not going to have
Right.
an offers. So the best you can do is put yourself in some situation where you're going to win, and hopefully you get that one, and it changes your life.
All you got to do is find one guy.
Yeah.
That's what people. And
there you go.
And I tell people, like, we have and you know what really bothers me too? Like, I partner with FAMU, BCU, Edward Waters, and we do the HBCU mega camp that you guys will be coaching and everything at. But you know, people think they're too good for that.
It's crazy.
And I'm sitting there like, you don't have a scholarship.
It's crazy.
Like Junior is, for those who don't know,
My boy.
Junior, we can call him Junior, but I could not even tell you that. I know I can't say his name, and I know the kid.
Muradovic.
See, thank you.
Yeah.
He is
Muratovic.
a white guy. See, that's what
See,
I thought.
wait, hold on. Muratovic, yeah. So.
But he's a white. His mom is literally like
awesome.
she's a beautiful lady, nice, like one of the sweetest people ever. But she's literally, when you talk, you know she's not from here. But he's at FAMU.
Yeah, I know.
You know, but what I loved about him was when I talked to him about it, he turned down another school.
He had offers,
right?
yeah.
To go to FAMU.
Yeah.
And people don't understand. You know, it's still college and it's free.
There you go.
So, you know, like you said, you had one of the kids you want to talk about, because I don't want to mess them up, because I know we got short on time, but we got about 5 minutes, but there's something I definitely wanted to make sure that you told the people about before we go.
Yeah.
So who's the other kid?
No, the other kid, I've got two other kids. Eli Hamrick, he was at IMG, and now he's in North Carolina, #1 quarterback at AC Reynolds. And then you have Jackson Presley, who I just went to Arkansas with. He's a 2026 kid out of Montana. His dad is Brian Presley. He's an actor, and he's big into. If you haven't seen Touchback, that movie is a great movie. Okay. He's the star quarterback in that movie. Okay. So watch it. It's a good life lesson. I just watched it the other day again. But that was his dad. Special talent. And he's got some opportunities like West Virginia, Alabama, and Missouri. So
if he got that, he's very talented.
Yeah, no, he's talented.
And he's 26 as well?
26, yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's
that class, like I said, is very, very loaded. And I've been blessed enough to train some of the top guys in that class. I would say the top, because I'm biased, but yeah. So, but I want to talk about something you just mentioned about the money, right? Trainers, and this is a plug-in for you guys. Know your worth. Like, honestly, like if people complain about the money, then they're not for you. You know, if you charge a certain amount, it's because you feel like you deserve that money, or you know what you bring to the table. I know for myself, I know I bring much more than just training. I'm your marketer. I'm your mentor. I'm going to get you recruited, and I'm going to be in your back pocket all the time, making sure you're doing the right thing, no matter if it's in school, out of school, on the field, off the field. Doesn't matter. I'm all in, right? So I have agencies I'm partnered with. I have business that I'm partnered with. I have access to a lot of things that most of these trainers probably don't, and I don't really publicize that. But if you watch how I move through social media, I'm going to make sure you are a national brand based off how I train you. Now, you got to be the guy. You can't just be some sloppy, right? So like you just alluded to, not every kid's going to be a Division I talent, right? So you got to be realistic where you stand, but just know you're going to get the most out of me. So trainers, whatever you charge, I know that everybody's, he charged this amount. You know, at the end of the day, I'm going to charge what I charge because I believe what I bring to the table. So whether you like it or not, that's on you.
This is my thing. If we're going to talk about that, we'll end with that. But I'll tell people this. Whatever trainers charge, that's what they charge. You don't go to McDonald's and argue about how much a $5 Big Mac is.
Bang.
If you don't have to buy it.
There you go.
And one of the things that one of the things I don't like, because I go through it, people, I don't care what people don't understand is any one of us in any business with kids, we probably charge less than what we should charge.
There you go.
We really do.
Yeah. If you look at the big, and like you said, what we bring to the table is much more than $50 an hour.
I don't even charge that. But people will get on me about a bus tour, and I'm sitting there going to myself, and the only reason I really know my bus tour is cheap because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because after COVID hit, I didn't have a bus tour, but I still took my son all over the country.
There you go.
And I spent $15,000.
Yeah. Oof.
Whereas on my bus tour, we're going to see 15 schools for $700.
I love it.
Come on,
and I will always support that.
I mean,
you can't beat that anywhere.
You can't, and and people don't understand. The only reason I know about it, and I tell people this all the time, what happened? Me and Keywan Ratliff got in the car and we drove a kid to Memphis, to Cincinnati, Kentucky, and Tennessee, and we spent, good money. But more importantly, the thing that we realized, it was our time, our
There you
effort.
go.
But it was a guy there on a bus, and I won't say his name, but the guy had 50 kids on the bus, and Baylin, all 50 were ducks.
Wow.
But he charged everybody $2,500 a seat.
Crazy.
And he told me, sure, man, I don't care. I'm just getting the money. And I'm just not built like that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is $50 an hour for training.
Yeah. Especially what you bring to the table.
That's nothing. Like I'm saying,
Can't even eat it.
Like my thing is if they don't like it, they don't have to come.
There you go.
And I think that, one thing about Central Florida, because, I told somebody, it's like, I'm from Texas. I promise you, guys in Texas are getting more than that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, I know. I train out there.
I promise you. Like, so, and they've been getting it like.
Shout out to Quincy Carter.
They've been getting it since back then.
Oh, yeah.
Right. There's not like, right. There's not no new stuff. So
I know guys in Florida that charge $250 an hour. And,
Right.
but they're quality, and I don't have a problem with it. They're quality, and I know what they bring to the table.
Even if they weren't, your
Right.
job as a parent is to
Is to figure out whether that's for you or not for you.
And first of all, if you can't afford it, you don't need to do it.
There you go.
But you know what bothers me though?
You got to spend money to get what you want sometimes.
But you know what bothers me? Just like my bus trip, and it bothers me with this. I literally will give you a fundraiser to help you to get to
There you go. And you
get
won't do
there.
nothing
and you
with
won't
it.
do nothing with it.
100%.
But then you're really quick to say, "Well, can you help me?"
There you go.
But I've given you a fundraiser for 3 months, and even like
do the
this
car
year,
wash, but you don't show up to do the car wash.
Right.
Well, here's free money for you. What are you
people don't
doing?
even know. Like I have, frat brothers, and they contribute. But even like this year, like for the guys who actually, I had the people that did the fundraising came up a little short. They might have,
Yeah.
but guess what I did? All of the money that my guys gave, I'm giving it to those guys. They came up short. If you didn't show up, matter of fact, one guy, I want him to be. He is not, and you know him too. But him and his family have not done anything, and
he probably has all the talent.
And I'm going to him. I'm going to certain schools just for him.
Wow.
And he was, and I won't say his name because I love him and the family.
Yeah.
But they did not even. You actually posted about him a couple of days ago.
Okay.
But they didn't do anything.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there like, dude,
That's crazy.
Now I'm gonna have a conversation with them probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
But that's the stuff I'm talking about.
Right.
And so, man, but one good thing about tonight's show that if nobody else got, and I hope that kids listen, is how your relationship with God was. That was very impactful because not only for the kids, grown-ups too, because you have to have that come to Jesus moment. Like, there's no way you can be a Christian without having, because if nothing's going wrong, if everything's going great,
right.
you
What's
have
the point
to,
of God?
Right. You have to be
100%.
like, man, look, man, like if you have to show me.
Yeah.
And what's crazy, he always does.
Always.
That's what I told
You
my
just gotta
son.
look for it.
Like I told my son, I said, I was mad about West Orange and all that, but when I watched my son, and I'll share this story, I was going to choke the crap out of him, man. Because you got, and that was what I was going to bring to you. I was going to tell you, it's coming. And remember, everything I ever tell you is coming. You're going to, in about 14 years, just call me because I don't want you to choke my little man out. But it's coming, like, so that we're clear. But I was going to choke him out, and Coach Shep, and this is why people don't understand, I'm indebted to Coach Shep forever in my life.
Guy, by the way.
That brother came over to my house he heard in my voice. He stopped what he's doing, came to my house, had my son come out. He said, Assad, you're probably the coldest receiver I ever had. And he said, my wife asked me why he doesn't have all the offers. He had all these offers. Why is he really not that cold? And he said, it was so bad I had to pray to God because I was saying to myself, I don't know. And God said, until you're respectful to your parents the way you're supposed to be, you will not be blessed. That moment, my son did it, and all of a sudden, he had a great season. He was blessed. He's at Colorado.
Amazing.
But it forced him to get into
yeah.
the word himself.
I love that.
Because like I tell kids, and if you're listening, you have to be respectful to your parents.
100%.
Like if you heard Baylin's story, he was, even when he wasn't doing what he's supposed to be doing, you still were respectful to your parents.
100%. Oh yeah.
And
my dad's my best friend. My mom is my biggest cheerleader.
Oh no, your mom
she's the real deal.
Your mom's like I
love
told
my
you.
mom.
Hey, she's the real deal. I don't care what nobody says.
the
I've seen
greatest
her
human.
do it for kids all over. Like she took care of the community.
Yeah.
Period. And she's a great woman.
Yeah.
So man, I appreciate you coming out, man. We'll definitely have you on again when the season gets back in because we want to definitely
One
talk a
last
little bit.
plug.
Go ahead.
Got to talk about offers. Guys, offers only come by the work you put in. trainers like myself, we have connections. I'm never going to put my name on a kid if I don't know you don't work hard enough for it, or you're not taking care of the business, like you're being respectful for your parents, or you're not doing things in the classroom, because it's always going to come back to that, right? They're going to know who you are. So for me, I market all my kids, like you see on my social media. I blow up everything. Everybody sees offers. How do you get all this? Guys, I have connections. I'm just going to be straight up, and I've been blessed with that. I'm not trying to brag about it. It's just the facts, you know. And AG, you're probably starting to see it right now, and it's like it's real. Like you make one call, this guy, and like next you know you have an offer, right? And you got to understand the difference between offers, guys. You know, there's three offers. There's committable, there's favors, and there's, you know, we're interested. And the offer that's interested is, hey, I'm going to give you an offer because I know you're going to come to my camp. Correct. If I don't offer you, you're not coming, so you don't think I'm serious. But that's not committable. The committable offer is really the favorable offer. That's where it comes in, because if you're doing a favor, that's not committable. But if you ask the coach, hey, can I commit? And they say no, then you know, whoa. Like, I've already been to your campus 3 times. You've seen me enough. You like my film, but you're not going to make it a committable. They're just kind of playing with you with numbers, right? Because at the end of the day, if they need a guy, they know they got you, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to earn that committable offer, but it's very important that you guys understand that, because everybody's chasing that offer, but really, do you know what that offer means? And for my guys, I have connections to the coaches where I'm like, hey, don't offer my guy unless I know it's committable. If you offer my guy, let's be serious about this. If any of my guy that you offer, whether it's, let's say Arkansas, Bobby Trino is one of my guys. I love that guy to death, but he believes in my development. So he says, hey, I'm offering this guy. I'm going to go watch them throw, blah, 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 at their schools, whatever. And we're going to do like this session, whatever, at their school. Let's make it legal. If we like them, we offer them. They offer all my guys. And if any of them want to commit today, he would take it right now, because he knows and he believes in my development with these guys. And obviously they have to have the talent.
Hold on real quick so you make sure people understand. Yeah. And this is something else that kids now need to understand.
Yeah.
He offered 4 of your guys.
About 7 of them.
Or 7. So he's not going to take all 7.
Correct. You got to make your decision.
So kids, right. So kids have to understand we don't have, like, you're at that time frame. If you're playing around, you're waiting. You know, you're waiting for the bigger offer. You're waiting. You know, you
gotta rush the process, and you got to figure out what it is. That's why if you have to spend money, you have to travel. You have to go see these schools. Don't make a blind decision not being on campus. That's why if you see what I did, I went to Noah Grubbs all over the country. You know, Darion went to Oklahoma last week. Like, I'm sure I'm going to be traveling. Michael Clayton and Eli and Presley went to Arkansas.
You have to go visit schools.
Brady Hart, I'm sure, you know, we've been on a couple campuses together. So, like, you have to be, also trainers have to be involved with your kids. Make sure that they're making the right decisions, because you are the point of contact until the open period. So until June 15th hits, I'm the guy. So trainers, you are the resource for these kids. And so making sure that they're always in the right position and making sure that these offers are legit, because at the end of the day, it's going to come back to hurt the kids if it's not.
Because the reality of it is, this is what people don't understand. Until August 1st, they're going in their senior year.
Correct. It's not. You can't physically.
Like you don't really know.
Right.
You can have it, like, because it happens every year.
You said to me something before this thing, and the guys we're talking about all have sophomore tape.
Yeah.
Usually your junior year is the most important year. Now it's your sophomore year, because the transfer portal is so big now. Everything is pushed up a year. But at the end of the day, that junior year matters. Like I said, my guys, all the guys have offers, and I've got a lot of guys that have offers. If they don't do well in their junior year, that going into their seniors when you should be committed,
they would disappear.
They would be like, no, we'll wait, we'll see, because we got other guys we like that can do exactly what you can do. So you gotta perform.
Like, that's why those guys got to go to camp this summer. They got to throw the ball.
Yep.
Then
offers only come now, especially quarterbacks. You're listening. When they see you throw live. Your tape looks great. Everybody's good film. But guess what? What separates you is the little details, and the only way they're going to see that is by seeing you in person. And all the guys that have offers that I trained, all those coaches have seen my guys one way or another in person. So you got to go to these camps. That's the only way that these guys really see you, and which is why bus tours are important. That's why trainers are important.
Or your parents can take whatever.
Parents,
right.
It doesn't
but you got to get there.
You got to get there. And you got to invest money. And at the end of the day, some of these camps are expensive, and you have to pay.
And you have to pay. They don't, like, they can't let you come for free.
Correct. I mean, that's illegal.
That's illegal. So,
and here's the other kicker. Trainers like myself who has networking, guess what they do when they go to these camps? They get in select groups, and that's where the offers happen. So to be honest with you, if you're not in that, you're not going to get the offer. You
better know somebody.
You better have connections.
Like Tyler Davis and those guys, they'll tell anyone. When we went to the Memphis mega camp, which at the time Mark Norvell was the head coach of Memphis, we drove up there, and they had Tyler and all our guys in like a BS, and I was like, hey, they were sophomores. Hey, bring them over here. Yeah. And the next thing you know, Tennessee, so it happens.
You got to be,
but we'll definitely have a show just about that, because there's a lot.
Yeah. Recruiting's powerful.
So we're going to have a show about recruiting. I'll bring you back in to kind of go there. Awesome. And what I'll do is I'll bring Noah's dad in as well. So that way we all three can kind of go through that. and that way parents can. So, man, I appreciate you, man.
Dude,
Thanks
that
a lot.
was awesome, man.
All right, man, I appreciate it. Hey, man, shout out to everybody out there. Hey, tell them. Matter of fact, before you go, tell them where they can get in contact you at.
Yeah, social media wise, which we talked about it. I think because of my mom, like you mentioned, I've mastered social media marketing, and I've watched my mom do it since she was, growing up when I was 15, 14, watching her how she orchestrated at Disney, and then she became on HSN, Home Shopping Network, which is all about marketing products, and to being the vice president of Orlando Magic. Like my mom is big time when it comes to this marketing piece. So I've learned from her, and I was able to say, hey, this algorithm looks good when you promote here, and it gets in front of the eyes of the right people. Right. And so talking about social media, you're going to see me a lot, especially if you follow me. So you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, same thing, Baylin Trujillo, at BAYLINTRUJILLO. That's my main accounts. And then I have a quarterback training page on my Instagram, BTrueQB Training. And again, you can follow me there. I have a website, BaylinTrujillo.com. That shows my stuff that I'm doing camps-wise, whether in my training schedule weekly, stuff like that. So you can get in contact with me. I'm not hard to find, guys. Like Deion says, I'm not hard to find, right? So I want to be accessible to everybody because at the end of the day, I want to make impact regardless of what it is. I help all positions. If they need recruitment, advice or connections, I can do that as well. I've been blessed, man. I'm a blessed kid, just from Orlando, who was raised by two parents that loved me and had believed in my abilities. And I'm sitting here today because of the glory of God and how He's really orchestrated my life. And all glory to Him, no matter what I do. And I have a beautiful wife at home that supports me in all this, even though it takes a lot of time. I have a kid, obviously Grayson, who we talked about a little while ago. But yeah, man, I've been blessed, man, and I appreciate you, AG, for taking me in. I mean, dude, it was one of the coolest moments is getting that call from Rat and saying, I want you to be my quarterback guy. And I was young. And he's like, I want you to come in. And you guys had all the top quarterbacks every single year, whether they're from here or they're traveling. We had Joe Milton and Art Satowski at one point, and Art's Illinois quarterback coach, who I have a great relationship with, and Joe is now going to be drafting the NFL. So, like, we always had the top talent. But for Rat and you to call me when I was, just fresh out of college and say, hey, we want you to take over the quarterback position at Rat Pack, which I thought was the coolest thing ever at the time. It still is. It's certified dogs now, but like that was just the coolest thing. So
you had a passion for the kids,
you.
And that's something that honestly, that's kind of one of the things.
And one of the coolest times is they took me to Vegas, and that was amazing.
On that note, we're gonna end the show because my wife may be watching. I didn't do anything wrong, baby, for this guy. So anyway, with that being said, Evan, we appreciate you. Hey, make sure you go to CoachRecruitMe.com and get all your recruit information there. Peace.